Well, hello friends, welcome to Rewake Videos. My name is William. I'm so excited to just have you today. And when I'm in a car, I just have like these thoughts that just come, and I think a lot about money. I think a lot about where I'm going, where I want to be, what I want to achieve, my goals, my financial goals, because we need those, right? So fine, I was thinking about just a simple thing, making money buying shares that are cheap, right? And here's the thing about it, it's good when you buy shares when they are low, right? It's good when you buy shares when they are low, so that when they go high, you'd be able to make a profitable income. You'd be able to make more money. Maybe the stock or the company would be able to grow and diversify its own portfolio. It will be able to grow and give out dividends and so forth, so you'd be able to make more money, right? So as I was thinking about that, another thought came in mind, that sometimes these small companies, these cheap shares, they don't branch out, they don't grow, and they end up being costly. They end up being something that you regret, because for 5 years, for 10 years, it's still $1 or R1, and it hasn't grown, right? So our expectation when we buy shares, when we buy stock, is that the company in itself needs to be able to grow. So when you buy stock, let's say shares are about R1 or $1, and you buy stock for about 20,000 rand or $20,000. At the end of the day, after 10 years, 20 years, you are expecting to get a profitable income, to get a huge profit. And if that doesn't happen, that means that the company in itself has failed you. But when that happens, that means you are becoming richer. We look at the likes of Shaq. Shaq, the basketball player, the American basketball player, he bought shares from Google when Google was just branching out, studying, and it was going to grow. He didn't know, but he was told about this company that is going to revolutionize the internet. Without Google, a lot of people are lost. So he was told all of those things, and he invested in it. And next thing he knows, he made a whole bunch of money. He bought a big house, he bought huge things, and then he was able to afford his life. But that was not his only investment. He also invested in a franchise. What do you call this? These retail shops. He invested in them, and they were able to grow when they were small, and they were able to grow and made a huge money for him. What Shaq did is that he believed that small companies, small shares are able to grow and become something big. I don't know if he made losses in his investment career, but what I know is the positive side. So now, if you think about it like that, if you think about the likes of people that started Apple, when they were giving a lot of money towards Apple, people that started Facebook, people that started all these companies, they didn't know where the company is going, whether they're going to make a loss or a huge amount of money. They didn't know. What they knew is that they are going to invest, and after investing, perhaps they will be able to make money from it, and perhaps they'll be able to grow richer from that investment. And some of them did. Most of them did. You talk about Jeff Bezos. You talk about who's this guy, the Tesla guy, Elon Musk. They invested in themselves. They invested in their stock and got other people to invest, and they were able to boom. So now my question is, what about us? What about us? Because now you're looking at for instance, William has no company and he wants to be able to be a great investor. So how do I go about investing in a company and research while so that I can be able to make a profit from the shares that I have bought, sorry about that. How can I do that? So when we look at I went through a couple of companies in the New York Stock Exchange, and I also went through a couple of companies in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So I'm encouraging now people to diversify their portfolio, especially if you're South African. Diversify your portfolio and invest in New York Stock Exchange listed companies. I'm talking your Apple, Microsoft, and so forth. But there are other companies that are small, small companies, but when you check, they started, I looked at this other company, it was listed in 2021, right? When it was listed until now, between the two periods, the company is still like, what, $9? It was $9, right? And fine, no complaints about that. But I looked again at another company in South Africa, and that company is about 12 rand. 12 rands, so 12 rands, fine. And my question was, it's been for the NYSE company that was listed in 2021, it's been 2-3 years, right? And for the South African company, it's quite equivalent, maybe 5 years. Does that mean that people that have invested in those companies, they're not making as much of a profit as they anticipated? If that's the case, fine. Because if I invest in a stock today that is worth 1 rand, and I invest 100,000 rand, and 10 years later it's still worth 1 rand, that means that I just saved my money. I just placed it aside. Nothing happened. But if should that change? Should that change dramatically? Let's say it's been 5 years and it's still on 1 rand or $1, and a couple of 5 years later, when I check again, it moved from $1 to what you call this, $10, $20, $200 or 200 rands and so forth. It moved, it grew. Then that means that I have made a profit. So what about the guys that have invested in those companies and it's still there? Or maybe they invested when it was 0, and now it's at about $1. That means they made a profit. So how do we then increase dramatically so our money? So I thought about this, and I just thought, okay, how about we take things step by step? Like, for instance, do your research. Go back to the videos that I have made, and you would notice that a lot of times I speak about research. I introduce you guys to websites of these big companies, your IQ options, your JSE, and so forth. I introduce you guys to Easy Equities websites, all these brokers. I introduce you to their websites so that you can be able to research and be able to sit down and make decisions based on how much the broker is going to charge you, how much the share is worth, and do you think that, because sometimes what they do, these brokers, is that they would not include a certain share, a certain company, because they don't believe that company would grow, or they would wait for that company to grow, or they would rather give you profitable choices so that you can be able to be successful under their broker brokerage company or leadership. So my thing is, we need to be able to think different when it comes to investing. So when I take that 100 rands or $100, I need to be able to think different, right? I don't think about whether or not I'm going to make money within 10 years. I think about, okay, let me study this company, let me research this company, let me look at what my broker is saying. Do they advise me to invest in this? Let me look at what financial advisors are saying. Have friends that are financial advisors as well. Do your research. Go to investing.com. Go to there's another a website that teaches you about shares, that teaches you about cheap shares, expensive shares, and so forth. They deal with that. So go to those websites, sit down, Google around, search about this company, who runs this company, what's their background, when did it start, and where are they going. Then after that, check their employees, check if they're satisfied, check if there are any complaints on Yelp, check all those things. Then maybe that should take you about a week or maybe a day, depending on the time that you have. Check all these things. After you have checked them out, make sure that you are satisfied and you believe in yourself that this company will grow. Then after that, when you invest, you don't invest because you want to make a huge profit, but you invest because you are believing that this company will reach its ultimate, right? And when you do that, that means that when the company goes low, you are not going to shiver in your shoes, but you are going to say, oh, okay, do I take out my money? You research again, you check where the company is going, you check what happened for it to go low. But when it goes high, then you can sit down with yourself, your me, myself, and I self. Then you would make a decision that, okay, do I then reinvest my money in this company, or do I take it out and invest somewhere else? Where is my thinking? Do I make my research more, or so forth? Because in order for us to become millionaires, we need to be able to remember, billionaires, they act upon a hunch. They act upon a hunch. They act upon, when they build a company, they say, okay, there is a need, and I'm going to supply that need. But when they make their research, you'd find that 100,000 people need what they want to sell. Or 1 million people need what they want to sell. So if 1 million people get what they are selling, and that's it, that means the company is dead. But then if they can make sure that 1 million people, they depend fully on their product, that they improve their product every year, Apple, they improve their product every year at Microsoft, then they make sure that 1 million people, they are able to reinvest in that particular company. So guys, if you want to be a successful investor, that's how you go about it. You believe in the company, you research on the company, and you make sure that the company that you are investing in, it grows, right? And that's how we become millionaires. That's how we become richer. Because in order for us to become richer, it's not just about, hey, I want to make money. No, it's about believing in a particular product that you want to sell, believing in the particular product that you want to invest in, believing in the particular product that is, that you think you see a future in. For instance, people who invested in Google when it was starting, I'm sure it didn't make sense. You're talking about internet, you're talking about something that is going to revolutionize the whole idea of search engines, SEOs, YouTubes, and all that. When they spoke about Google, do you think people actually believed that will become a success? I'm sure just a handful of people were like, okay, let's give it a shot, and that's how they became richer. That's how they grew. That's how people that invested in Facebook grew. That's how people that invested in Microsoft grew. Apple grew, because they can't be $1 billion companies if they didn't have the little guys who were investing and just watching at the rear end. They couldn't be. They needed that money. They needed to branch out. So my thing is, especially to everyone else who's a young investor like myself, we need to be able to dream different. We need to be able to think different, especially when it comes to our financial life, financial goals. In order for you to transform 100 rands into 1 million, you need to be able to think different. You you need to be able to look at these companies in a different way. You need to be able to look at these international companies in a different way, because just because it's 1 rand today doesn't mean that it's going to be 1 rand in 10 years. Perhaps it might become. Remember Zoom. Zoom was so cheap in the beginning. Then all of a sudden people are using Zoom, during what you call it, COVID times, and Zoom just boomed. So that's how wealth is built. You look at a company, you see a potential of growth in that company, and after you research, after you are satisfied, then you say, okay, I want to be able to invest in this company. That's how we become richer, turning your 100 rands into 1 million rand. That's how we can do it. That's how we can become successful. That's how we become richer. That's how we become the Warren Buffetts of our days. So that's my encouragement to you today. Choose a company, look at it, research, and after that, invest. I'm currently looking at a company, and my wife and I were talking about it. We were like, perhaps there's something there, but I'm not really satisfied. But hopefully it's an international company. It's listed in the NYSE. So I'm looking at it. Hopefully I will invest in it. So why don't you do the same? Because in order for you to be able to beat resurgence and all those things, you have to have investments that you are controlling. You have to have other investments that your brokers are controlling, so that you can become a successful somebody. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and make sure that you comment down below. Let's talk about making money and building wealth. Step by step. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.